The Clockmaker's Unfinished Dream. Hi guys, we are reading a story on The Clockmaker's Unfinished Dream. Do you want to read this story with me? Sure, let's read it together. The Clockmaker's Unfinished Dream. In the heart of a bustling city lived a meticulous clockmaker named Arthur. Arthur was renowned for the precision of his clocks, each piece a masterpiece of perfect gears and springs. Yet his own greatest ambition, building the colossal astronomical clock for the city's new tower, remained incomplete. The astronomical clock was Arthur's life work, a machine that would not only tell time but track the stars, the lunar phases, and the movement of the planets. The complexity was staggering. He had spent years designing the thousands of intricate components, but the final, most crucial wheel, the gear that governed the orbital alignment, kept frustrating him. Time and again, he would finish a design only to discover a minute flaw in its balance or timing. His apprentice, a bright but hasty young man named Leo, grew exasperated. "Master Arthur," Leo urged, "the city council is demanding completion. Why not simplify the design? No one will notice if the Jupiter gear is slightly off. We must finish it now." Arthur would only smile faintly, his eyes never leaving the microscopic drawings. "Patience, Leo," he'd reply, gently tapping the drawing with a caliper. "The promise of this clock is not just in its assembly, but in its perfect truth. If the truth is flawed, the entire dream is worthless. We wait for the perfect year." Months stretched into a year. The city's impatience grew into frustration, and whispers began to circulate that Arthur had lost his touch. Leo, convinced his master was merely stubborn, even tried to secretly install a slightly imperfect gear he had made. The test run was disastrous. The entire celestial mechanism seized up, grinding to a halt after just an hour. Arthur calmly disassembled the damaged section. He did not scold Leo, but instead pointed to the flawed gear. "You rushed to the finish line, Leo, but you forgot why we run the race. The hope of perfection requires the patience to wait for it." Arthur went back to his bench. He didn't work faster, he worked deeper. He abandoned the traditional materials and spent weeks researching a new self lubricating alloy he had once read about. He painstakingly forged a new blank gear, spending days polishing it until it shimmered. Then, taking a deep breath, he began to cut the teeth, one microscopic groove at a time. He worked with a quiet certainty, his hope not for speed but for rightness. Finally, one clear morning, he held up the finished orbital alignment wheel. It was a marvel of craftsmanship, radiating a soft silver light. He carefully installed it into the astronomical clock. As he set the final counterweight, the enormous clock began to tick. The hands moved, the zodiac sign shifted, and the tiny, glided planets began their flawless orbit. It was perfect. When the clock was unveiled, the crowds gasped at its complexity and beauty. It was the most accurate clock the city had ever seen, a symbol of enduring excellence. Leo, watching the mesmerizing movement of the gears, finally understood. The end. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like and subscribe this video, and stay tuned for more stories and videos. See you later. Bye bye.